October 11th is National Coming Out Day in America. And I thought it would be nice to have a little bit of a different kind of video on our channel and talk a little bit uncensored and unfiltered. Usually Brian and I show the best aspects of our life. We show our relationship, we show trips that we go on, we show the dates that we have. And I love doing those videos because I watch them and it makes me laugh. It makes me so happy to live the way that I can live right now. But even 5-6 years ago, if you told me that I would have this channel of my gay life out into the world, or that I would even be in a loving gay relationship, I don't know if I would have believed you. And the truth is, coming out is a journey. It's interesting to use the term coming out story, because there really is no defined moment where you come out. There is only the journey that you take as someone in the LGBTQ plus community, and it is a constant coming out to every new person that you meet, every new job that you have, every new school that you go to. It is a beautiful journey, but a painful one at times too. National Coming Out Day carries special meaning to me because I actually came out on National Coming Out Day. There is a lot of articles that talk about National Coming Out Day being a good thing, being a bad thing, adding too much pressure on people, creating a false, safe, brave space for people to come out to when maybe that's not true. And I want to validate all of that. I want to say that coming out is a deeply personal experience, and it is something that you should be ready for. And that can be at any age. That could be when you're 5, when you're 15, when you're 25, when you're 55. Any age, it is okay, and this community loves you, embraces you, and welcomes you when you're ready. I don't really know when is the first time I realized I was gay. And I think that I find it hard to answer that question because you spend so much of your life trying to deny that existence. You spend so much of your time convincing yourself that your feelings are normal, but normal in a straight way. Like, it's okay to feel maybe some attraction towards the same gender, and still be straight. You think that you can live a straight life, and that everyone maybe has these other feelings that they just hide it better than you. So I don't know. I don't know when is the moment that I realized I was gay. I spent so much time convincing myself that I was straight that I really believed it. And I think what made it challenging is that, like many people in the LGBTQ plus world, do feel at times opposite sex attraction or romantic relationships with different genders. And I definitely felt romantic relationships with females. And I think I grabbed onto those moments and those people thinking that that meant I was definitively straight. I come from a Buddhist background. My mom's side of the family practiced Buddhism. And I remember praying, begging that whatever I was going through was normal, that what I was going through was just confusion. and that everything would be okay. And I'm leaving it generic, but the truth is I was praying and begging that I was not gay. I didn't know what that reality could mean, and I was very scared. Like many people in my community and in my chosen family, there's this deep sense of fear of what would happen if you were gay, if you were different, and whether or not the community that you hold dear, the heteronormative community that you have known all your life, will still accept you and love you. But sometimes you can't even think about it that far in advance, because all you can think about is, right now I'm so scared that maybe I am different. When I was in college, I started to feel like maybe I was bi. Again, I was holding on to the idea of that romantic feelings I had with girls was my predominant force, and the predominant part of who I was in terms of my sexual orientation. But I did start feeling some same-sex attraction, especially towards cute, nerdy boys. My goal, or what I thought was going to happen, was I thought that I would maybe experiment a little in college. That's what I convinced myself. I was like, oh, you can just experiment with one or two, get that like curiosity, scratch that itch, and then go back to the life that you love and the life that you have. And unfortunately, the first person that I chose to kind of explore that side of me with ended up becoming my first love. One of the saddest things you could do to yourself and you could do to others is to deny yourself of authenticity and truth while living it, while living a lie. So for all 4.5 of those years that I was with my first love, I was closeted. First 2 years of the relationship, I convinced myself that this was just going to be a one-time thing. I don't even know what that means. A one-time relationship? A one-time 2-year relationship? I don't know, but I thought that the relationship would naturally run its course. It would end in 2 years, and that would be it. And then I would just let that be kind of a part of my hidden past. So I didn't come out to any friends. I didn't come out to any family members. I didn't tell a single soul. And I expected my partner to do that for me as well. My partner at that time was out, and really struggled with not being able to share a relationship that was growing, and obviously blooming over 4 years, with his family and friends. And he was sick of it. About 2 years into our relationship, he tried to end it by saying that he really couldn't take it anymore, that living a lie was too hard. And I had a panic. I was so deeply in love with him at the time, and I didn't know what to do. And I made a commitment to myself that I needed to work on myself, that I needed to find acceptance, and I needed to love myself. And that meant all of me. Fast forward 2 more years in the closet, and I'm still not out. I cannot tell you why specifically, because I think there are so many reasons why someone doesn't come out. And I think that includes deep sense of fear and deep sense of worry. And you will always feel like it is not the right time to come out. There is never going to be this perfect window, perfect storm that everyone in your life is telling you this is the moment. That just doesn't happen. I mean, it may for some people. I do want to say that this is my story and other people live different lives and I celebrate those. But in my story, there never was that moment where everyone seemed to indicate to me, hint to me, give me signs that coming out would be safe. So I thought that maybe there would be. I hoped that there would be. So that's what I was waiting for. 4 years into our secret closeted relationship, my ex ended it. There was many reasons why that relationship ended, but one big part of it was that the trauma of having to stay closeted on my behalf, even though he was out, was probably too much. When he ended things with me, it was the deepest heartbreak I have ever felt. I had just graduated medical school, was in the middle of my first year of residency training, which for anyone who is in medicine knows that residency training is kind of a really intense and lonely time. And I felt like I lost all of myself. I didn't know who I was without my partner. I had no gay friends. I had no gay community. And I had not even dealt with who I was as a gay identity. So I was alone. I stopped eating. I rapidly lost a ton of weight. And I would go to the hospital crying in my car. And in between seeing patients, I would go to the bathroom to cry some more. Cried the loss of my love, cried the loss of myself, and crying because I didn't know what to do with myself. There was a point in time where I was begging my ex if I came out, he would get back with me. It was a sad and kind of desperate time to beg someone to love you. And honestly, the grief and the shock of what I was going through made me feel strong, ironically. It made me feel like love is love. Love is worth it. As scary as it is to come out, nothing is worth losing your partner sometimes, but definitely nothing is worth losing yourself over. So that was when reality hit me. And he still said no, which is fine. At the end of the day, that relationship was ending and cracking, and there was no saving it at that time. But through depression, heartbreak, and the lowest point at my life, I found courage. I found that even though he did not want to stay with me, I felt ready. It was a moment where my fear of coming out was still there. Everything, all the reasons that I would fear coming out were still there, but I felt like I could do this. Life can't get any worse is sometimes how it felt, but also I had so much more to gain by being authentic. It was a way of picking myself up at the lowest point. Though ironically, the only thing that could lift me was going to be the acceptance and love for myself. The breakup happened in early October of 2014. And October 11th, 2014, I called 3 of my best friends in medical school to meet. And through bubbling mess of tears, I came out to them on the couch of one of my good friends' dorm rooms, because we were still transitioning out from medical school. And I came out to them first because I knew they would accept me. I knew it may come as a shock. I knew that it may come as offense because I've lied to them or had not been authentic with them, but I knew that they would embrace me, and they did. And to this day, those 3 people I am forever grateful for. They are my med school family and my first friends to know the authentic and true me. After that, you kind of go through this period of time of wondering, oh my goodness, I did it. I have people that I can confide in. There's people who know me, the real me, all of me. But then you think about everybody else in your life who do not. And each of those individuals become a coming out stressor. And then there is once you start having people who do know and don't know, how do you keep them separate or together? I needed a lot of help picking myself up from that relationship. And the next person I went to was my sister, who I love. And one day I called her over, and I was working in the hospital and so tired and not eating and losing weight. And I told her what was happening to me on the couch of my room. And my sister did what family who love you and cherish you do. She hugged me, and she actually eventually told me to pack up my bags and move in with her. She knew I wasn't eating, and she knew that I was working in the hospital really long hours. So what she did was took matters into her own hands. She gave me a bed to sleep on that was at her place, a new change of scenery that I could not associate with my ex. She fed me all my meals, watched me to make sure that I was eating, and gained back my weight, and then she was just there for me. And I love my sister so much, because sometimes I feel like during that time she saved my life. So for those of you scared, doubting yourself, wondering if you can come out, do whatever you want to do. Come out when you feel ready. Don't come out if you don't. Find people who will be there for you and will build you up at your lowest points. Those same people, those true friends, those chosen family members, they will be there for you in your most authentic form. They will create spaces for you to feel brave in when you do want to come out. I wish you so much love. So for this National Coming Out Day, I want to share not my coming out story, but my coming out journey. Thank you for listening.